Welcome back to Lalo's Garage. If you've got a kid heading off to college this fall, you already know the tuition bill is on its way. And now they need a car too. So today we're not doing the deal hunt. Today's episode is all about school. CarGurus released an article that provides us with 10 categories of used cars, what makes each one work for a college student, and what specifically to look for when you go shopping. 3 ground rules first, because they apply to every single car on this list. Rule 1, buy used. With what tuition costs right now, a new car is the wrong move almost every time. Somebody else already ate that steepest depreciation, and let them do so. Rule 2, the sweet spot is roughly 70 to 125,000 miles. Below that, you're paying a premium. Above it, you're gambling. And I'll say this louder than the article did. A well-maintained car at 110,000 miles will outlive a neglected one at 60,000 every time. Service records beat odometers. And rule 3, budget around $7,500. That's the number that keeps insurance sane and keeps repairs from being catastrophic. And one thing I'll add that the article didn't, check the tires before anything else. 4 decent tires is $600. If they're bald, that's not a deal. That's a bill you haven't been shown yet. So 10 categories, let's go. First category, subcompact. And the pick is the 3rd generation Prius. Here's why this generation specifically. Toyota sold more of these than any other comparable stretch up to 2012. In 2012 alone, they moved over 260,000 units. That matters for a reason nobody talks about. Volume means parts. Every junkyard has them. Every shop has seen one. You're never waiting 3 weeks for a part. 50 plus miles per gallon in the city, and the reason that number is so high is worth understanding. It's stop and go driving. The electric motor carries most of the load. The gas engine barely participates. So a Prius is at its best exactly where most cars are their worst. Campus driving is the ideal Prius environment. Even a base one gets you climate control, cruise, power windows, and real connectivity. This is not a penalty box. So straight talk, the thing to ask about this hybrid battery, well, these packs commonly last 150,000 to 200,000 miles, and replacement is roughly $2,000 to $3,000 at an independent hybrid specialist. A lot less than the dealer quote. If you're looking at one over 140,000 miles, that's not a deal breaker either, but you need it priced into your offer. Ask if it's been replaced and get the date. Compact car, and this is where I point most people first. So let's look at the 2014 to 2018 Mazda 3s. The article notes that this price spread on these is wide, and here's the reason. 2014 was a full redesign. That's when the Mazda 3 became the Skyactiv car. Better looking, better to drive, better on fuel. A 2013 and a 2014 are genuinely different cars. If somebody shows you a 2013 or 2014 and say they're basically the same, well, they're wrong. 2 body styles. The sedan is cheaper, but the hatchback costs a bit more, and it's worth it if your student moves apartments every single year, which most of them will. 30 city, 41 highway, and it's actually fun to drive, which the Civic and Elantra can't really claim. But keeping it straight, 2 things to point out. First, the car came with a manual on both body styles. This is great if your kid can drive stick. It's useless if they can't, so confirm before you drive an hour to see one. Second, and this is the real reason I rank it high, on the upper trims, you can get blind spot monitoring and cross traffic alert on a car in this price range. For a 19-year-old merging onto the highway in a city they don't know, that system is worth more than leather seats. Look for the Grand Touring or Touring trims. Next up is midsize, and for this one we have the Volkswagen CC. Now this one will make you do a double take, and it should. Everybody shopping midsize searches for Camrys, Accords, or Sonatas. Almost nobody thinks of the CC, and that's exactly why it's on this list. The CC is an entry-level luxury car wearing a mainstream badge. If Volkswagen had a Lexus, this would have been parked in it. It's bigger than most of its competitors, it's better to drive, and the friendless stores give it a look nothing else at this price has. A $20,000 car for 6. What's genuinely surprising is how little owners complain. The later years in particular draw very few gripes, and the most common one is a check engine light, which any competent shop diagnoses without drama. But let's be real here. This is a 2-liter turbo Volkswagen, and you need to go in knowing what that means. Timing chain tensioners, carbon buildup on the intake valves, PCV system. None of it exotic, and all of it eventually. So, two conditions. Set aside $1,000 for maintenance and find an independent Volkswagen shop before you buy, not after. Do these two things, and the CC is the most car for the money on the entire list. Skip them, and it'll frustrate you. For the full size edition, the article recommends a Ford Crown Victoria. Let's be honest about what happens to a car at college. It's going to get scraped, dinged, parked badly by somebody else. So, why spend more than you have to on something built to be delicate? What you want is something engineered to absorb punishment. And few things fit that better than a car built for police departments and New York's taxi fleets. The Crown Vic is from a different era of engineering. Body on frame, the body bolted into a separate frame instead of welded into one piece. Nobody builds cars that way anymore. It means a lot of damage is repairable instead of structural. Buy the newest one you can find. The later cars got bolt-in cast aluminum subframes, a redesigned front suspension, and a proper steering rack instead of the old recirculating ball setup. They drive noticeably better. But let's be real, and here's something nobody else will tell you. A lot of these on the market are ex-police cars. Looking at the gauge cluster for an engine hour meter is a must. Police cars idle at scenes, engine running, AC on for hours, and none of that touches the odometer. So, doing some rough math here, about 33 hours of idling is another 1,000 miles of engine wear. A cruiser can carry 4,000 hours. So, a 100,000 mile ex-police car can really be a 200,000 mile car. Read the hour meter before the odometer. Quick pause. If this is the kind of breakdown you want, real explanations, no hype, and me telling you the stuff dealers would rather skip, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Fresh episodes every week. All right, back to it. For the compact crossover, the article recommends the Kia Soul 2014 to 2019. The Soul might genuinely be the ideal college car, and it's one I think I'd put my own kid in. Look at what it checks. Good fuel economy, enough room for a few friends, and with the rear seats folded, a cargo hold that swallows an entire dorm room. Because the boxy shape means vertical space, which is the thing sedans can't give you. A mini fridge stands up in the Soul, it doesn't in the Corolla. Now, solid factory audio, and it takes personalization well, which 19-year-olds care more about than we do. The later cars in this range add adaptive cruise, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. And CarPlay matters more than it sounds, because it means your student's phone is mounted and voice-controlled instead of in their lap. The price spread across 2014 and 2019 is wide, and here's how I'd play it. At the lower end, you're getting fundamentally the same competent little SUV. So buy condition, not model year. Find the cleanest one, not the newest one. And to keep it real, these came with manual transmissions, especially in the base trim. So confirm the transmission before you buy. And the base cars skip the backup camera. On a boxy vehicle with thick rear pillars, that's worth stepping up a trim for. Mid-size SUVs are the most popular thing on the market right now, which is exactly why finding one a student needs on a budget means winding the clock back about a decade. To hit $7,500, you're looking at a Santa Fe that's roughly 10 years old. Here's the encouraging part, and a generally good insight. These weren't track cars or trail rigs. Almost everyone spent its life as a family hauler doing school runs and grocery trips. That's the gentlest life a vehicle can have. Your odds of finding a well-maintained single-owner example are better than most categories here. Aim for the SE or Limited with a 3.3-liter V6 and 5-speed automatic. The all-wheel drive system is a Borg-Warner torque management setup that's robust enough for 4 years of college without complaint. Now, be careful with the naming. Around 2013, Hyundai split the lineup. Santa Fe Sport is the shorter 5-seat version with a 4-cylinder, and a plain Santa Fe is no longer a 3-row with a V6. They're different vehicles with nearly identical badges. If you want the V6, the article recommends read the window sticker, not the tailgate. And if your student is going to school somewhere where it snows, the all-wheel drive isn't a luxury. It's the entire reason to pick up this car over a sedan. Next on the list is a 3-row SUV, and for this, they recommend the Ford Flex. The Flex has been quite a favorite for a lot of car people since it showed up in 2009, and drivers who give it a chance tend to become genuinely devoted to it. 7 or 8 passengers, The seats fold away cleanly and open up in an enormous cargo hold. It's impressively quiet at highway speed. That boxy shape hides a car that's genuinely relaxed on a long drive home. And in all-wheel drive, it handles winter confidently even on all seasons. Now, early ones weren't quick. The EcoBoost engine arrived after 2012 and fixed that. So if you find a later one, that's going to be the hot ticket. And yes, it looks like an armored truck. You can strap a surfboard to the roof and lean into it. There's something genuinely cool about the Flex that it's never gotten credit for. And if your student is in a band, this thing swallows gear better than anything else at that price. But to keep it real, the Flex is not the most coveted car for 19-year-olds. And that's precisely why it's cheap. You're being paid, in features, to drive something unfashionable. On the used car market, that's the best trade available. Look for the equipment group cars, leather, power liftgate, memory seats, and a 12-speaker Sony system on a vehicle that costs less than a base compact. For the hot hatch, we have the GTI, Volkswagen Golf. The GTI was practically a rite of passage for college students back in the day. Campus lots were full of them. Less common now, but everything that made it a legend still holds. We want the 2009 to 2014 generation, the Mark 6. It's a joy to drive, especially with a 6-speed manual, and it stays genuinely practical. A real hatch and fold flat rear seats. You'd be shocked what fits. And it holds up on safety better than you'd expect from a car this old. Depending on the year, it carried up to 8 airbags, and it performed strongly in safety testing, as high as 36 out of 37 points for occupant protection. It won't have the blind spot monitoring or lane departure warning, but in an actual crash, this is a well-protected car. But make sure you buckle up every time. Now, to keep it straight here, 2 transmissions. And this is the whole ballgame. The manual is the one to buy, simpler and cheaper to live with. The DSG automatic is brilliant when healthy, but it needs a fluid and filter service roughly every 4,000 miles. And a failed mechatronic unit is a 4-figure repair. If you're looking at a DSG car, a service record is a must-have. No records? Walk away. You'll find another one. For the pickup, the article recommends the Nissan Frontier. Here's something worth knowing. Nissan never stopped building the Frontier. Through the whole stretch where Ford and GM seemed convinced nobody wanted a truck smaller than an aircraft carrier, Nissan quietly kept selling these, generation after generation, to the people that wanted a truck utility that still fits in a normal garage. Now, the 2005 to 2014 editions are solid value. 4-liter V6, real 4-wheel drive available, and a bed that actually earns its keep on move-in day. Now, to keep it real, and this is the single most important thing in this segment, the known issue on these is a transmission-related situation. The transmission isn't the culprit, though. On automatics, the transmission oil cooler runs through the radiator. If that radiator fails internally, coolant and transmission fluid mix. That is a death sentence for the gearbox. The good news, though, a competent shop can install an external cooler that bypasses the radiator entirely and eliminates the risk permanently. So, ask 2 questions. Has the radiator been replaced? And has an external cooler been fitted? If the answer is yes, buy with confidence. Now, one more honest note here. Safety tech on these is dated and crash scores are underwhelming. If safety is your top priority, pull up the NHTSA ratings before you commit. And watch the fuel economy. Mid-teens in the city is normal for this truck, which is real money on a student budget. The article also recommends minivans, and in this case, the Toyota Sienna is the one they recommend. Now, we get it, minivans aren't cool, but try fitting a drum kit in a Miata. The 2nd generation Sienna arrives well equipped on safety, anti-lock brakes, brake assist, traction control standard, and a comprehensive airbag system. But here's the statistic that should stop you, and it's the most remarkable number in this entire video. The IIHS tracks real-world death rates, not just crash tests. For this generation of Sienna, the occupant death rate came back at exactly 0. Not one Sienna occupant died in multi-vehicle, single vehicle, or rollover crashes in the year measured. 0. I don't know a stronger argument for putting your kid in a minivan than that. Add sliding doors, which in tight campus parking lots means never getting a door ding complaint again, and a V6 that routinely runs past 300,000 miles. To keep it real though, the earliest cars in this generation had documented transmission complaints. Those were largely resolved by the end of the run, so buy toward the later years of this range. And check the sliding door tracks and motors. Power doors are the most common failure on any minivan, and they're annoying to fix. That's the 10. If you take nothing else from this, take these 3 things. Maintenance records beat low mileage every time. A pre-purchase inspection is about $150, and it is the best money you will spend in this entire process. And run the VIN number yourself through AutoCheck or Carfax before you hand over $1. Dealer listings almost never publish accident history or owner counts, so you'll have to do the homework on most. And one last thing, whatever your student ends up in, the goal isn't the coolest car. It's the one that starts every morning, gets them home for Thanksgiving, and doesn't turn into a $2,000 surprise in the middle of finals week. If this helped, subscribe and drop a comment telling me which one you'd like to put your kid in. My name is Lalo, and you're always welcomed at the garage.